So recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Steenkamp, I'm going to go back to internal controls because we might not know the specifics, but would you agree, you're a CPA, you work for Price Waterhouse, I'm a CPA, I understand internal controls. You would admit that for this to occur, there had to be a breakdown in internal controls. You would have to admit that, correct? Yes or no? Simple question, yes or no? In any time you have loss of money, you have a situation like this, there has to be a breakdown in internal controls, correct?
I mean, I don't disagree that something obviously went wrong.
And it would probably be internal controls, because internal controls is how you stop this from occurring. Wouldn't you agree?
That could potentially have been what went wrong.
Right. I'm going to go back to a follow-up on what some of the questions Ms. Waters asked, but Price Waterhouse identified the management override of internal controls as a risk to MF Global in their audit work papers produced in 2011. Are you aware of that?
I can't specifically recall that.
You're the CFO of the company, and I actually have the work paper here that shows that they identified it. You're the CFO of the company, and you were not aware that there was significant concern because of the override of internal controls.
Sir,
your auditors have brought that to the attention of the company.
So there are many discussions that are held on all the various controls. As you know, there are 100 controls that operate in the firm, and so there are many discussions around that.
This is a significant one, though.
So we asked for any documents to be provided ahead of time for us to have a look. Unfortunately, we didn't get it.
Well, let's keep going on, because again, your answers are going around in circles, and that's the problem I think most of our colleagues here are having. MF Global's Chief Executive Officer, John Corzine, stated in his prepared testimony that he actively managed MF Global's European sovereign debt repurchase to maturity portfolio. Would this hands-on action by the CEO be some type of, wouldn't it be something that they were cautioning? Wasn't this what they were talking about?
Well, sir, I mean, again, I'm not sure whether that was controls for MF Global Inc. or any other entity, or whether it was for the global that it was referring to. But just as a general point, I would say that anything that any actions of Mr. Corzine would still have to fall within the control framework that exists at the regulated entity.
Well, if the internal controls say that he can do anything he wants and nobody can stop him, that's not a very good internal control. And I think when he was here and I asked him the question, the only person who could stop him is the board. He could override anybody except the board. Would you agree that that was the case?
Sir, I have no memory of any comment like that off the top of my head.
Well, he did testify that, but I'm saying, were you aware that he could make any decisions he wanted and the only person that could override it? I mean, it's an internal control feature. You're the CFO.
No,
it's shocking that you're sitting here.
I'm not aware of a control such as that.
You're not aware of it. You're not aware of internal controls like that?
No, I'm not aware of a control that said he could override any action, sir.
Would that be a breakdown in internal control in your eyes as a CPA and somebody who worked for Price Waterhouse in a global firm? Would that be a breakdown in internal control if the CEO could actually make decisions like that without anyone else overriding it?
If the CEO,
forget it's MF Global, any other company.
If the CEO could just override any internal control, I agree with you. There could be mitigating controls in place, further down, but if that is the only
You answered the
control.
question, yes, and then you started talking again. The question is, you did answer that would be a problem in internal controls, correct?
If that is the control.
Right, I said it doesn't matter what company it is. On October 22nd, an email to credit rating agency Moody's, you stated MF Global's capital and liquidity has never been stronger and that MF Global is in its strongest position ever as a public entity. How could this be when 1 week later MF Global Inc.'s parent company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy?
Yeah. So that email and that comment was made very early on the Monday morning on the 24th. It reflected the capital and liquidity as of the end of Friday.
You're the CFO of this company. It is really shocking. I mean, I've been a businessman my whole life. I would never be able to answer the questions the way you're answering them. You're the CFO. We're talking about liquidity. We're talking about the strong corporate position and you're testifying a week before it that it's stronger than ever, and it files for bankruptcy 1 week later?
Sir, that comment was made before any of the downgrades that took place. It reflected a cash position after
Well-
2 successful capital raises that we had completed in August, with that cash still in hand. And it
This
also
is in October. This is October 22nd. Again,
Correct.
it amazes me as the CFO of any company that I would not know that we are in trouble in the position you're in. I mean, I'm sorry, but again, I'm a business guy, I'm a CPA, I've audited major global companies. I am totally shocked that you would sit here and say that you believed it was in the strongest position it could be a week before it filed bankruptcy.
So that was prior to any downgrades and conditions.
You
changed.
should know prior to any downgrade. You're inside the company. I'm running out of time. I'm sorry. I yield back.